here at McDonald's Playland, you'll find lots of people, coming in here with their families, but we had to clear them out so that we could have these guys on. For the record, how you guys doing?
Good.
So, now you guys have obviously been getting quite an interesting buzz and whatnot, I've heard. In fact, why don't we start, tell me about the band name, what does it mean, and what's the history?
There you go. Yeah.
Well, the band name we just came up with because it sounded cool. There was no really meaning behind it.
Yeah.
It was just catchy.
Go ahead.
We actually had a battle of the bands, and we had a day to come up with a name, and so we just thought of it, sounded catchy, and stuck with it, and kind of grew on us, and we're like,
That's pretty much it for
Yeah, because, I was actually going to say, the only For the Record name I've heard of is a local TV show back in Madison.
Oh, really?
It's hosted on Channel 3. So hopefully you won't be hearing back from Channel 3's lawyers anytime soon. So, if you had to, now who would you consider your biggest influences, either metal or hardcore, and choose?
Sure. I've been into a lot of Justin Bieber lately. But besides that, metal. Oh, I'm sorry. Besides that, I like the Devil Wears Prada. They're one of my favorite bands. And a lot of Under Oath too. Devil Wears Prada and Under Oath, and some August Burns Red.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a little bit of that.
Under Oath is, I wouldn't say a bad band or anything. When I first saw the video on MTV2 a while back, I thought, what's it doing on Headbangers Ball? Almost sounds like a screaming version of Rancid. Anyway.
For me, I really like bands such as Dies Today, August Burns Red, great influence. I love the technical drums and guitars. I don't really have a lot of influences. As far as metal and hardcore, but I really look up to people that are famous as far as just playing drums, such as old classic drums, Dennis Chambers, and guys like that. So,
What about Keith Moon? Yes.
he is a good drummer.
Yes, he is. Okay.
I'd have to say my influences are more today. Bullet for My Valentine.
I was actually listening to them on the way here.
And then Weekend with Romans. That's pretty much it.
My biggest influence would have to be As I Lay Dying. Everything. I started playing guitar younger. The first band I started learning songs to, and they grew on me a lot. And they're still my favorite band. So they're probably my biggest influence.
For me, definitely August Burns Red, one of my biggest influences. It's one of my favorite bands, but also other bands like Under Oath and Who Came as Romans are also really influential on me.
Those are all pretty good influences, I must say. I've often discovered that, those are the types of best bands to draw influences on when you're getting into a band and whatnot, but I'm pretty sure there's some older bands that you guys like a lot, maybe Van Halen or
Pantera.
Gotta love Pantera, especially Dimebag. May he rest in peace.
Yes.
Moving on. Now obviously the metal and hardcore scene have actually gotten a lot bigger, I think, since say MTV brought back Headbangers Ball.
Yeah.
What I want to know is, what makes you most happy about today's hardcore metal scene? What would disappoint you? Answer the first one first and the second one. You know what I'm saying.
Happy? I'd probably say the amount of people that show up to metal shows and the amount of people that like metal nowadays.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, you'd ask people about metal and they just think it was annoying, screaming stuff. But,
Yeah.
but now it's it's kind of like the cool thing.
I think most people are prejudiced against metal nowadays because they think it's all screaming, but they need to go back to the '80s and find out where it got its roots from.
Exactly.
Maybe even listen to some early Black Sabbath because it's not It wasn't always screaming.
Okay.
Yet anybody who listens to the Dave Matthews Band will say otherwise.
And then what disappoints me is every new band that pops up locally. A lot of new bands. I won't say every single one, but the majority of them. All they ever do is just try to copy other bands. Like, all they do is just throw in a couple random like breakdowns and
Trends and other things.
all they do is just try to get famous by doing the trendy thing, and basically writing the same exact songs that other bands have already written, just in a different way. So that disappoints me.
And something else that really disappoints me is that a lot of people don't realize where the hardcore scene comes from.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, a lot of like older bands such as Pantera and Metallica, and we've grown from bands like that. So without like their input on music and without them writing music the way they do, we wouldn't have the scene that we have today.
I would totally agree about that. I mean, there's so many good acts coming out nowadays. It seems like mainstream media only wants to focus on one different act, and that's why major labels are going out of business. Should get around to wrapping this up, but what can people expect from your shows and or records? Like, I don't know. I mean, like for instance, First Say. I mean, there was a major band you want to play a show with right now. Who would it be?
For today. Yeah, probably for today.
I don't think I've
I'd
heard
say
of
a
it.
word alive.
The word alive with For Today. For Today, they're a really good Christian metal band. They just you can tell those guys just play from the heart.
Sounds
they're
like-
they're so solid and everything.
Sounds like I'll probably be hearing a lot more of them in the future.
Oh yeah, they're good.
That on the Double Whistle Prado, just because they're one of my biggest influences. Like I would definitely enjoy playing a show with them.
Well, I'm glad I heard it here first. So anyway, now on to the original question. What can fans expect from any of your shows if they were to go to one? Like say next week.
Well, they could expect to have a lot of fun.
Crazy crowd involvement. That's what they have.
A lot of energy and just
A lot of
It's
smiles.
nice to know that moshing is still alive and well despite its change in culture along with the musical genres like when Nirvana came out.
Yeah.
Good band, by the way.
Very good. Something that we try to do is connect with the crowd,
That's
which
good.
makes things more exciting. And
Yeah.
it's kind of like a chain reaction. You get one person pumped up, and then the next person gets pumped up, and then it ends up to be the whole entire crowd. So that's something to try to do.
Well, that's great. Well, all right. Well, thanks to you guys for showing up doing this. If my memory serves correctly, I think you guys are going to destroy a whole lot out there. And I want now. If there's anything you want to add right now, feel free to add it. Like, in fact, tell them where they can go to check out some of the best newer and hardcore metal bands. They'll see first and foremost.
I mean, you can check out our MySpace. We have a couple sweet hardcore bands on our MySpace on our top friends. And just check out those bands. Those are actually some of the local bands that are around here that are helping us out, and we're helping them out.
Also,
You can go to AskMetalMax.com and check out this interview and also many other interviews that you can see from Metal Max himself.
some that are already on there or will be on in the future.
Yes.
All right, well, you guys, good luck, and let's just say
Thank you.
that we were allowed to do so. I'd let you guys destroy this area, but we'd get kicked out. So maybe next time around if we do a follow-up interview.
Very cool. Very cool.
All right, good luck to you guys.
Thank you.
You guys heard here first, for the record.